So what's the UK abrochi memuha? Na when your car akwenshie bi enyo fo. Anase adokita fo ahwe wa wan hwe yi. Right claim betumi aboa wa ma wagisi kan pimpin bebre. Ya wo UK a lawyer fo etitru anase ekuku damfo a betumi aboa wo afonko ama. Kosi se we sika no beba. Eno ani se wo be ko www.rightclaims.co.uk. Na wa fill wo form. Wo betumi afre yen wo number ya ewu figure ase. Say a cancel of flights. Anase when your flight delay for over don shremiensa. May trek 3 hours. Enko bebia. Right claims betumi aboa ma ahanso wagisika. Right claims. It's as simple as that.
Green Select Glucometer from Costless Ventures. Safidi kitwaya etimimpo eshow botomi eboa ma uhunu sugar level abribia. Wana wo diabetes anayarea hodwa emma sugar level. Esote wo brano no. Safidi ebe bo nkaye baby bia wo bia no wada wo so akohu doctor ntem. Na wo dry betimi ma blood sugar no aye pepepe. With Green Select blood glucose monitoring system, you get your test results in 5 seconds. And you 5 seconds per now results are ready. And it's suitable for persons of all age. Na ne boa so de at the form of Call Costless Ventures now on 0205-915-315. Green Select Glucometer, the best. This advert has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Okay, so the action on radio is what I give to you anytime you see me sitting like this here on Sammy Flex TV. And because I know sometimes you are so busy during the day, you don't even get time to listen to what we do on radio, I have introduced this particular segment called the highlights of Showbiz Agenda. Here what I do is whatever we did on Zylofon 102.1 FM on a special program called Showbiz Agenda, I give you all the highlights. I know you might not have time to listen to all the 3-hour program, so what I do is I come down, call my team, and we say that people would want to hear this, they want to see this, we piece them together for you to enjoy. It is called the highlights of Showbiz Agenda. So today's episode is going to give you one of such, taken from Zylofon FM's Showbiz Agenda. All that you have to do is to sit, relax, enjoy, and still get the moment just as it was live on radio. I did this with my team led by Digital Rasta Currency, Richie Flex, Ya Lapiji, Nana Reagan, and Team Dodo Solomon, aka Chamo, and MC Berima as well. Now you have to relax, and anytime you want to know what is happening on Zylofon FM, this is what you have to do. Subscribe to this channel, Sammy Flex TV, get all the updates, and even if you're not able to listen to what we do on radio, you get a chance to watch it here on Sammy Flex TV later. Enjoy the moment, and you can always share your comments with us here on the show. Enjoy, and let's do more. We out.
Quest, how about you? Do you have some children, and what would you want them to do?
Made them do my cheek crowd. my firstborn be like 3 and a half. Yeah.
Okay. A lady or a guy?
No, guy.
Okay.
Like a sire. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then my second one, she said she chopped 8 months today.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so fresh. I'm behind. Like,
but still, you still have the.
But yeah, I mean, would I want them to go? I think whatever they want to do, you know, whatever they want to do, I'm open to it. Obviously, there's always going to be the part of you that
directing them.
That the guy was like, oh, you know, you're meant to me, and yeah, no, do you get me? But Charlie, my first one, he's already doing his own thing, so you know, these guys are so independent.
Okay, so let's say you are in the showbiz space.
Yeah.
Would you want him to also toe the same line?
Yeah, why not? If he's passionate about it, then yeah.
Well, they are based in London, I guess.
Well, they're based everywhere. Like at the moment, they're in Ivory Coast, but they're in Ghana sometimes. They're in London sometimes. Yeah, But the reason I say if they're passionate about it is because obviously with showbiz, you know, the income is not steady. You can't really plan all the time, you know. And that also investing. So what keeps you going is the passion at the end. So if the passion is not really there and you're just doing it because you think it's a quick buck, then I would advise against it. But if you're doing it because you're genuinely passionate about it, then
but is the story the same where you live? Maybe you have a landed background of a sort. Is the story the same? Can't you predict in your show business that okay, this year I can earn this because I have this album, I have these these songs, these singles?
Yeah, not necessarily. No, it's still a estimation. It's still a prediction, because even though there's systems out there to pay you if everything goes well, you know, you still have to take, for example, like if you release a single, you'll take on radio pluggers. Radio pluggers will charge you maybe £1,500 for an 8-week campaign, but they're not guaranteeing you any airplay. What they guarantee is that they will try their best.
Let's get that point clear.
Yeah,
you pay £1,500 for radio campaign
for a plugger,
for plugging. Okay, so in Ghana, what we call promotion.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not just generally promotion, because the plugger is very specific. Plugger no, they're going round to stations to say, oh, my guy, I'll drop a track, Muntie. Or if there's like playlist meetings, for example, like with, you know, especially Radio 1, BBC and stuff, because they pay the most royalties. They have very, very, you know, strategic meetings to make the decisions. I'm not talking about say I will be born once, to get playlisted where you can then make the calculation. Because for example, if you get onto C list, you know that might be 5 plays a day, for example.
Okay.
If it's A list, you know you can calculate, say, guaranteed it's 10 plays a day. You know the royalty rate
on one channel or different channels? No,
every station has different rates.
Okay.
And different, you know, stats.
No, the 10 plays a day calculation is what I'm asking.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying if it's a very large station, it might be 10. If it's a small station, maybe they might play 20. It depends. Each station's going to have their own statistics. But what I'm saying is that you can literally sit there as a team, as a person, as a label, and calculate. Once you've got that green light, say, okay, we've got A-list on Radio 1. You know roughly they'll play that for maybe 4 weeks to 6 weeks. You know how many times in a week they're going to play it. So you can calculate quite near to, you know, within £10, £20, £50, how much you're probably going to get. So that's where the record company might give you an advance, because I'm like, I say, okay, you're bad advance, so then we will take a extra. But everybody knows, say, do you get me?
I get it.
So that's the type of, you know, situation that really you want to be in. But to get that playlist is not guaranteed. So if you want to have video, £2,000, £1,500 if you're trying to be moderate, right? Then you've played a radio plugger. Then you've paid artwork, blah blah blah, promotion, all kinds of other assets and stuff. So maybe on a campaign, I always say £5,000 if you're serious about trying to make it onto, you know, Radio 1 or something like that. That's really what you should be looking at.
I see.
That's my own personal judgment. But other people spend less. It depends on the type of music. If it's drill, it's a bit more hype, so it will go naturally viral on YouTube. So you don't have to spend that much. But if it's singing, then maybe you have to spend a bit more. But on average, you know. So if even if you spent 2,500 crown, you might not get it back. You might get some spot plays here and there. Well, now PRS about £20 about. You know, meanwhile, your fans are like, yeah, when's your next single dropping? When's the next track dropping?
Meanwhile, they don't know you spent $2,500 pounds already.
Do you get me? So I say that to say, you know, if you're passionate, then any spend paycheck then cool.
Okay, so let's use your story, Mike, first. Your songs have been playing on some of these songs, some of these platforms. BBC and stuff. In your case, how are you getting the returns from these platforms?
How? Through collection agencies. So like PRS or PPL, or I mean, if it's played in US, then ASCAP, or they have partners, you know, in most countries. Gamma, but
not now.
But I'm just saying that. So I put out records, and then obviously, you know, we're a small team. You know, we're not funded by any, you know, major label or anything like that. So we try and like assess what's realistic. But obviously, winning is not always getting playlisted. Maybe you're trying to increase your profile. Maybe you're trying to increase your fan base. Maybe you're trying to get to a particular artist and you're getting closer to working with, like, there's so many different things that you can judge to say, okay, the campaign was successful.
I see. So how many years have you been doing this?
A long time. I've been doing it since I was like teenager. Like my first like major deal, I was like maybe 17, 18. That was like as a producer.
Okay.
Then I went into management because I had some artists around me that got signed. So by default, I was like doing management and stuff for about, you know, another 7 years or so. Now I'm back to like focusing on production and composing as well.
So all these years, are you telling us that you've not been getting the returns? You've not been making
I have. But I'm saying it's not easy. I mean, definitely I've been blessed enough to say I can look at, you know, the ins and outs, and it's definitely been worth it. But like I said, you have to assess it. It's an individual case by case thing. Everyone has to assess what is success for them. I mean, I'm definitely been blessed enough to be able to make some good money from royalties and record deals and stuff. But it's nowhere for my own personal, where I'm trying to get to. There's still a lot further I could go.
At the moment, are you with a label or you are doing it as an independent person?
So we're doing it as an independent label. Curve Music.
Curve Music.
Yeah, QIRV.
Okay, and you are the CEO?
Yeah.
With other artists on it, or you are the only artist?
No, there's one or two. So for example, there's Hadara. Hadara, she used to be called H Boogie. She actually came to Ghana like some years back and was working with like Sark, J-So, Irene Logan and people like that. This is before the Afrobeats wave. Her sister is Estelle, you know, Estelle from US with American Boy with Kanye and stuff. So she's been a long time person, but she's made a lot of hits as a writer, not even just as an artist. So for example, maybe you might go on her page and be like, and that's it, 200 followers, and like literally like, but her, I mean, she's bought like 9 houses in the UK from royalties.
You don't mean
and she literally has 200 followers on her IG, and she's not verified. And because the focus is different. It's not for her. It's not about fame or being popular. It's about making a living. You know what I mean? It's about like, okay, when I retire, like I know that
am I going to lay
30 years time, you know, my estate is worth something. So that's what took me out of the game to be more behind the scenes for a very long time. And then I was also working with like Beyonce for quite a few years, and her dad and their label, so I learned a lot there. But my first love is like creating music, so eventually I was like, I had to make a conscious decision to say, look, I'm getting back in the studio and just doing what I love, because like I said, the passion.
I see. Now let's look into our space. In Ghana, have you produced or created some beats for some artists?
Yeah. I've worked with some. I've produced for 1 or 2, for example, like Kelvin Boy, Hadara that I just mentioned. On Kelvin Boy's album, there's a track with Hadara and Kelvin Boy and myself on there. It's
a song for the lady.
No, for Kelvin Boy.
Oh, okay.
So it's on Kelvin Boy's album. Yeah, it's a track called Never Lose. Really, really dope track. Very different kind of track as well, which is dope because, you know, it's great to work with artists who you can take outside the box and they're up for it. You know, they're creatively, they're always open. Like Kelvin Boy is one of those type of people. So, and then other artists as well, like quite a few. But recently what I've been doing is when I work with artists, I work with them from my project perspective.
Okay.
Do you get me? I'm open to working with people if they want me to produce something for their album or for their single or whatever. I'm cool. But most of the stuff I've done have been like for my own projects.
Okay.
Yeah, like Ifya, obviously she's on the record. Like Sark, I mentioned, even going back to Jay, so going back to Irene Logan days. Yeah, quite a few people. But yeah, for different reasons, some of the tracks haven't come out or people didn't use them or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's open it up for music business discussion.
Yeah.
Recently in our music space, there is this conversation of producers demanding for split sheets and the fact that they think artists in Ghana have been cheating them over the years. The ones you have done for our Ghanaian artists, how was the split sheet business done with them?
That's a good question. So I remember like when I say back in the day, like maybe 2010, those times, I used to talk about this stuff all the time. I'd go to like sessions in like my good friend Seshi. He's got a studio in Tema. Those times I didn't have my own studio in Ghana, and you know he'd bring artists around, and I'll start saying, "Guys, Charlie, we'll sign up. Like this is really what it's about." You know, you guys have tracks playing on radio in the UK, in the US, in Europe. And you have money sitting there. I've got friends that would call me, music executives in the UK, say, "Oh, Charlie Mikes, do you know the manager of maybe Yapono?" Or I'm just saying as an example, right? Or this person, because they have money sitting there. The money is going to expire because you have a period of time to collect the royalties. When you don't do that, shit, scanner shit. Do you get me? And what actually was happening was people who knew that were claiming people's royalties. I know that for a fact. I'm not going to mention names, but because on him says,
you don't know.
Do you get me? So people have had, like, they've gone back, and for example, PRS, they used to give 7 years window to collect. So back in the day, you'd have 7 years until I hit Tikra, 7 years, I'll be to me the idea to collect your royalties. Then they changed everything, and I think now it's like 1 year.
Oh, it's no more 7 years.
It's no more 7 years.
Now, after 1 year, if you don't take the money is expired.
It goes into a unclaimed royalties pot, and then they use it to do grants and help people, and so and share in that perspective. But Emma would talk.
I know.
Do you know what I mean? So so how it used to go was I'd be talking about it. Some people were open to it. Some people were like, okay, you know, yeah, but you could see that's not really where their focus was. So I'd have scenarios where, for example, as a producer, right, we might collaborate with an artist, and then, for example, this happens all the time. I might shout at an artist like, "Yo, Charlie, you're dope, blah blah blah, I'd love to work with you." My general setup is, if you're working with me for my project, then I don't expect you to put any funding into the campaign. So you don't put anything in. All I expect from you is just help do some promo on socials, come to the studio, record the track, and turn up for the video. It's not hard. Do you see what I mean? But then you have some artists, which I understand from their perspective, they're like, okay, well, what am I getting out of it? And I'm like, what you're getting is we're investing in a record properly, and potentially you're going to be exposed in channels that you maybe haven't been exposed. And we're going to register your royalty. We're going to talk about the split. So this is your royalty rate. So go and get yourself registered. But then a lot of them will be like, "Nah, Charlie, nah." And they ask me, do you see what I mean? and then, you know, you get into
they want it today.
Yeah, which I understand. I understand, because maybe they've never seen no royalties. It just sounds like kasakeke. But at the end of the day, no. He needs money or she needs money today. Do you get me? And then it puts us in a difficult situation, because I can't pay you, and then depending on how big your profile is, if you're really, really bringing a strong profile, then maybe that's a conversation. But even the irony is, the ones that are that big are more crowded. They don't ask
because they understand
they understand the process, and they know, okay, I've seen what Mike does, so let me collab with him, and I know he's gonna invest. But someone who's maybe up and coming or whatever might not see it like that, so they might want some money. And then when you say, look, I can give you, let's just say, look, I can cover your transport to come to the studio, I can make sure you're comfortable, you're not out of pocket if you want some food or whatever, but I can't pay you, or even if I do, I'm gonna recoup it. And I explained to them, it's not in your interest to take 500 Ghana, 1,000 Ghana, 2,000 Ghana. Now, maybe 2%, 3%, 5% every royalties, because that 5% could end up being £20,000 one day.
Yeah.
Do you get me? But I feel like now the conversations are happening, because Afrobeats has had a crazy wave. Ghana's music has traveled a lot, very far, and it's come back full circle. People are now internationally getting deals. People are getting publishing deals. People are getting record deals. People are getting licensing deals. And so it's come back round where people are realizing, oh, they heard this one went and done this deal. They heard. So let me go back and check out what's up with this track or that track, and this is where the conversations are now opening up.
Okay. I don't know how long you are staying in Ghana though, but the problem I know we have in our industry is knowledge and education.
I'm here now. I've moved here.
You've moved in now?
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you are here, can there be maybe some master class for producers? Because like I said, they have the talent, they are doing the works, but what is left with them is knowledge and education. Who is to take them through the processes that, guys, after your production, this is what you have to do, this is what you have to do. So now that you are here, can you open up for some master classes or something with your experience?
Yeah, so I thought about it for a while, because there was lots of conversations going on, people getting annoyed, people getting at people on Twitter and stuff, and I was like, I'm the type of person, if I'm going to talk about something, I also need to back it up with some kind of solution from my perspective, like the little that I can do to help. Do you know what I mean? Then I can jump in a conversation and say, by the way, my solution is this. So funny enough, this week actually, so you got 2 exclusives today actually. So I decided to start just a small online series. It's on YouTube. Like I literally need to press publish as we're sitting here, so it will go live now.
Okay.
For the first episode,
it's a video kind of.
Yeah, it's a video, and what it is apart from just talking, I do scenarios.
Good.
Because sometimes. So the first
especially
one, Charlie, I get it. So I get it. So the first one is a scenario about musicians, and at what point is the person a musician, and at what point are they a writer? What do I mean by that? You know, say I'm at the studio, my guy Josh, everyone knows Josh, dope guitarist, amazing guitarist, right? And I've spoken to him about this. That's why I'm able to mention his name. I'll be like, Josh, come down. He's been in scenarios, I'm not going to mention names of the producers, where Charlie, Josh, come down, or whoever, OT Wood, he played on the track. OT, come down, Charlie, brush studio, okay, cool. Then you know funny Uber, funny guitar, and also any instrument, whatever instrument it is, bass guitar, whatever, right? They'll go down to the studio, right? Now, if you go down to the studio as a musician, whatever your instrument is, and the producer is saying to you, Charlie, Bobby B vibe it. You don't have anything ready. You don't even have a skeleton of what you want. You don't have an idea of the direction, the key that you want to play in, a reference point. You want this person to start the process. They are not a session musician. They are a co-writer.
Yeah.
Because they are creating from scratch. They are creating melodies, etc. And it is quite likely, and I say this tentatively, that in the end they'll be entitled to publishing, and publishing is where you get the split sheets.
For that guy you told to play something, play a field.
Yeah, play a field. Then the panel recorded. Then they build around that. Do you get me? But what happens is, Obiba, then Charlie, you weigh 200, 300, 500, however much Ghana cedis. And that's the end.
Meanwhile, there is the bigger money after the production.
Meanwhile, we're talking about some of these people have played for huge artists on huge records, which would have probably changed their life to a certain extent.
Level,
Maybe, okay, they can buy a small car now or do something. Do you understand? But because of lack of education, because of so many different factors, they end up in these type of situations. So the first episode gives a scenario where you've got 2 scenarios. You've got one where the person comes, vibe it, and then I create a track around it, or give the impression of that. And then the second scenario where I've already got something. I've got a beat ready. I've played piano on it. I've done this. I've put strings. I've done my beat or whatever. But I just want some small guitar beat to sprinkle on there. The chords are already there. The tempo is already there. So there's only so much that musician can do. You're directed. Do you understand? So in that type of scenario, it's quite safe to say that person is a session musician.
Okay.
Do you get me? But even as a session musician, there's lesser royalty streams that you can still get. They're not as big as getting what's called publishing, but you can still get, for example, in the UK, you can still get PPL and a few other types
for
of
the
royalties.
session artist,
for a session musician, or even a backing vocalist. It's a similar thing. If the backing vocalist is singing on the song, they can still get some kind of royalty. It's not as much as if they wrote lyrics, but they still are entitled to something. I don't know if there's that
to what percentage they
in Ghana and stuff, and there's a way that they calculate it.
I see. So on which YouTube channel do we have this content so that my people listening to us?
So it's going to be on my YouTube page, which is just Mike's Quest. That's MYXQUEST. That's where I'm going to be uploading them, and I'll probably put some snips on my IG. So all my handles are just at Mike's Quest. And if someone has a scenario that they want me to explain, don't get wrong, I'm not here professing to be the only person that knows about this kind of stuff. I'm just someone
understand.
Who's contributing.
No, we understand. At all point in time, someone knows better than the other. And I'm sure that is your position. Maybe you know better than that producer, this producer. So if you are teaching, you are not wrong. Okay, so let me announce this once again. If you are a producer and you are listening to this conversation, I have a gentleman here with me in the studio. His name is Mike's Quest, and what he is going to do is to share experiences on how you guys can monetize your works, especially as producers. He's going to actually publish a video on his YouTube page, and still the name is Mike's Quest, MYX and Quest, QUEST on YouTube. You can do that to get the video. It is going to educate you on how you can also monetize your works. This is free education, and you can only get that here on Showbiz Agenda. Now, Mike has something with some great guys in our music space. Kelvin Boy is one of them, Ifia, and again Camido. So what is the agreement with them, and what project is this?
Charlie. Okay, I mean, I can give you what is public knowledge anyway.
Exactly.
Which is so everyone on the track is a co-writer.
Okay.
So that means if you wrote,
her verse.
Well, if Ya's verse, she's got 2 verses, so she wrote kind of like 1.5. And actually a really dope artist, up and coming artist who's doing a lot of stuff called Molly from Ghana. She actually wrote some stuff as well. And we'll talk about that as well, because that's another thing that people aren't used to, like collaborating and
as writers,
as writers and producers. So Molly's a writer, Ifya's a writer, I'm obviously a writer, Kelvin is a writer, Camido is a writer. So it's 5 co-writers. Now, when we say writers, that doesn't just mean lyrics. It's lyrics or melody or music. That's all classified as you being a writer.
So did you sing on it yourself?
No.
You did not sing on it, but you did the creation of the instrumentation.
Yeah, the composition, yeah.
Okay. And apart from that, those who did the singing, are they also on the split sheet? What is their percentage?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I can't reveal their percentage.
Okay, you cannot share the percentages.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, if they want to do that, they can do that. But they're all on the split sheets.
I see.
And everything's been, agreed and registered already.
So what it means is that even me, Sammy Flex, though I don't sing, I can now create some melodies, call some people to sing on it, and own the rights.
Okay, so how are you creating those melodies?
Maybe I know how to do some 1 or 2. Ben dun 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 come dun 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 dun. Kobiche, come and sing for me.
Yeah.
I get someone to do a bit for me.
Yeah.
And I become the right owner, though I did not sing on it myself.
Well, when you say owner, I mean that's a whole nother territory, because who owns the masters is not necessarily the writers. Do you understand? So we can go into that, but you can become definitely a co-writer.
Oh, okay.
If you're saying but you are writing, you are writing melodies. You might not be able to play the instrument, so you're not a musician or a performer, but you're definitely a writer. At the very least, a melody writer. So if you don't put lyrics to it, then you're a melody writer. If you put lyrics, then you're an author. If you put some music, then you're a composer.
So in your case, you did not pay Kelvin Boy, you did not pay Kelvin Boy, Ifia, Camido, and you did not pay them as in any upfront money.
No.
Okay.
No, because like I said, they understand that that's a regular type of process. You know, they also will obviously have an expectation from me, and the expectation is that their time is not going to be wasted. Their expectation is that, okay, if I jump on this track with this person, it's gonna be worth it, by way of creativity, by way of publicity, promotion, and infrastructure. That's what I would say. But of course, you know, you can verify directly with them. Maybe they forgot.
Okay, so DJ Stika, let's get it. What's the name of the song, Mikes?
So the brand new track out today is called Catchy Catchy, and that's with myself, Kelvin Boy, Efia, and Camido.
Is there a video already?
Yes, there is. The video is not out right now. You know, just going back and forth with Wa, trying to tweak some last minute stuff. So it will drop like any day now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
shout
this
out to Kofi Ewa.
Oh, Kofi Ewa directed it. All right. This is Catchy Catchy with Mike's Quest. I believe my panel members have so much questions, but then we're going to actually arrange with him a special seminar or maybe some masterclass for producers and how to also monetize your works as a musician. Right? A session.
Music Business with Mike's Quest is literally gone live right now.
Music Business with Mike's Quest.
Yeah.
It's now out now.
It's out now
it's on your YouTube channel now.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, you are lucky. Man is ready to share free of charge. He's not even taking money. I was thinking that we put together some class, we take some money. So
more songs are coming, so we have
so
to
we can do
get
that
playlisted.
But this one is for free on your YouTube channel now. Okay, so Mike's Quest is the YouTube page. Go learn, make some money. Actually checking the YouTube video, as he said, it is just 12 minutes long. So please stop crying about your data. Go and get knowledge and make some money. Music Business with Mike's Quest. And Mr. Na, maybe I can pick you guys, your thoughts, your questions. Quick ones. Let's wrap up.
That's some superb education this morning.
Yeah, and it's free too.
And it's free, yes, it's free. I think there's a new wave around town, which has to do with the music business education, and I love the way it's catching on, you know. And I'd like you mentioned, we should organize a master class. That will ensure that people really, you know, because Ghanaians naturally are creative, they are very passionate about their crafts.
But how to make money from our talent is the problem.
They always cry. You know, we always cry about the old folks who die as paupers and all that. And I think that the narrative must change. You know?
It is changing.
So
a new wind is blowing.
I really love the new wave. You know, I just have one question for him. What about the song?
Wow, that's a good question. So with this particular track, I recently went back to uni. I went back to university because when I was coming back as a producer, like I knew that there was everyone was making beats or be able beats or be able. So I was like, okay, how can I still make sure that I'm like ahead of the game, so to speak? So I went to uni and I studied like orchestration. So I was working a lot with like orchestras, composing and stuff. I'd always liked classical music already, but I never really like delved in. I was in a lot of gospel before that as well, playing in church and stuff. So after the course, after the degree, this was like one of the first compositions that I started working on. So it was inspired, actually, like the melody was inspired by like classical music. Okay. But then obviously with the Afrobeats wave and stuff, I wanted to kind of have a fusion. And then hooked up with Kelvin Boy. And he's so versatile. Like he's the type of I could literally play him anything, and he'll come up with a melody. He'll come up with a vibe. So he came up with the chorus and his verses and stuff, and then we decided to kind of just like get other people on there. So yeah,
I see. Thank you, Mr. Na. Kobiche has joined us, so let me put him through. He is a blogger. Kobi, any question, contribution to Mike's Quest?
Yes, I think that he believes in quality. I've known him for a while. I mean, I've been following him and make sure that anything or any product that he brings out is of a standard. Now, I like the fact that he just mentioned that he went to the uni to
get more knowledge.
To get knowledge. The fact that he also loves classical music. So it means that you know the music score and the music script. Now, in our parts of the world, it is obviously very difficult to see our musicians transcribing their music or putting their music, putting their music on a score.
But when he said before, it was a lot more popular.
Yes,
exactly. They were reading music.
Exactly.
That's why their music sounds how it
Yes, because I mean, like I mentioned every day, but Pino though, I mean the old highlight musician who composed "Hey everybody," dance, yes, fully scored music. And so it is very difficult these days that we see musicians. I mean, artists who call themselves musicians, but they can read. Especially when you are going to the outside world. Like typically, this music that you've composed, how collectively? I mean, how are you going to sell our music to someone in India who even don't know Afrobeat, but because it has been transcribed, the person can interpret it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I think it's not for everybody because. You have, this is my perspective. You've got composers, musicians, then you have entertainers. And, some people, I'm not going to mention names, but some artists who are like from Ghana, like clearly their focus, let's just say, is not their vocals or their focus is not, their skill in delivery. Their focus is entertaining. Do you get me? So that's why I know there's been a lot of discussion. Oh, how come this person is now doing music? And wait. Listen, they're entertainers, and they know their place. Okoboshoa, they mime and they keep it moving. They don't try and do acapellas or whatever. But
no,
at the same time, I do feel like,
right, yeah.
So for example, last year, remember we went to the British High Commission. I'd done a show there, and that show was actually with a small orchestra that I put together. Shout out to the guys. And a lot of them play for the Ghana National Orchestra. That it's actually a full-time job.
Okay.
That a lot of people don't know, that there's people out there that are doing this, but it's just not got the exposure because it doesn't have the platform. Because maybe it's not as popular or they don't have the funding to go and do media tours or whatever. But we do have people, even yourself, Kobe, you play you play an instrument. Exactly, right? So but I think it's about us giving a fair chance to everybody to expose everybody so that everybody can get that chance to show their side. If you're an entertainer, cool. If you're a musician, cool. If you're a composer, musician.
Now, so last one. So what went into the selection of these artists? Efia, Camido, and Kevin Boy.
Yeah. So Kelvin, I think he was in London at the time when I had finished started composing the music. I usually start, then once the artists come on, then I'll carry on, and it's a bit of a long process. So Kelvin was around because we'd done tracks before. We had Tinganinge before, and then stuff for his album, and then a whole bunch of unreleased tracks with him as well. So after that, the process was just time, taking my time. I like to just digest the music, give it space, give it time, and then just visualize the type of sound that I can hear on it. So there was a few people that we were talking to in Nige, but then the process was getting a bit long. But I knew that vocally I wanted a female and I wanted a certain type of sound. And for example, that's even where Molly came in, because she's got a beautiful tone, beautiful sound. And then in the end we discussed it, and then she was like, okay, she'll just take a back seat and be a writer, because if had heard her part as well. And Camido, funny enough, he was in London as well. At the same time Kelvin was in London. So he came round to the studio with DJ Fifi. Shout out to DJ Fifi and Tamara. He came round and we were just vibing, playing each other's stuff, and then he heard it. So when he heard it, we done another track, and then he heard, and he was like, nah, he wants to do a verse for this, but if I don't use it, it's cool. He was so genuine. He was like, bro, I've got some ideas, I just want to trust me. So I was like, cool, I'll send it to you. And I sent it to him, and he did it. He actually recorded it and sent it back himself.
I see. Beautiful.
So it was a genuine, organic kind of process.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sammy Rasta, wrap up for me on this one.
I think to also congratulate this platform for starting this conversation. talking of the music business, because I remember when you started the industry project, you brought in producers here. Just after that, you brought in
the digital music marketers.
To start this discussion until Shatawale but I like the fact that it's bringing results. Like the discussion around it, it's huge, and I'm praying within no time, like every producer, musicians all will understand this business. And we are suffering when you are raising issues will help the film industry for discussion. Now the musicians are getting all the discussion. When you raise a movie issue, then you get people condemning you and saying all sort of empty.
Brain. But it's in
Kitiki.
Brilliant film. You know, the way it was directed, the musicianship, the composition, the scoring, and the directing. Like, there's so much talent here. There's so much talent.
Okay, Sammy, wrap up.
Sammy, I think it's a good thing. My joy is that at the end of the day, the discussion is bringing results. And that is what we need for the industry. At the end of the day, we don't need to be talking without any results. This is actually bringing results. And thanks to everybody who is part of it and making sure that this actually help the music industry.
Okay, Mike, I want to believe this is out already.
So this is out now. I've seen a whole bunch of like messages. I think it's like on quite a few playlists.
Okay.
You know, Audiomack, Spotify, Apple, Boomplay.
Okay.
All the platforms. So it's out now. Go check it out.
Nice one. What message are you leaving with those who are listening to us, and the fact that you would want us to do the master classes in the near future?
So I think the message is, let's keep the conversation going. You know, it's a point that you've been making. I've heard you talk about it on the radio. Kobe Che's been advocating it. Like, everyone's getting involved. Let's all have the conversation, you know. And if there's anything that I can chip in with, I'm there. You know, you can shout me, DM me, or whatever. You know, but let's get our people to the point where, and the government need to get involved as well.
Exactly.
Because the thing is, if they don't see this as a solid career path, they're not going to safeguard it in such a way.
Okay.
So everyone's got a part to play. So let's all play our part.
Since you are in Ghana, I'm sure my producer will be getting in touch with you maybe from time to time. We also invite you here on the radio, then we talk about that.
Yeah, that'll be dope.
Thank you so much, Max Quest. It has been a blessing having you. We'll do this again some other time.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
All right.